Servus, fragrance lovers, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm not going to sing a song, but instead I'm going to talk about my slow buy and why I decided to go on a slow buy. So if you're interested in this topic, please keep watching. So this is a different video. All the people that follow my channel because of Alex Horne's podcast, I still don't know how it happened, but somehow he watched one of my videos where I did a cover of his songs, I Miss People, link up here or here. And I had 300 followers back then. And he decided to contact me, and the song I Miss People was on his podcast, and he also did an interview with me on his podcast.
Today's cover story is all about a man called Andreas who did this cover of our lockdown song I Miss People.
I miss the dentist, God knows I even... The reason why I did your song is because I was tagged by another reviewer, and her name is Smurfy Girlie, and she did a freedom fragrance tag, so about fragrances that we're looking forward to wearing as soon as the pandemic is over.
I see.
And I thought,
this is
wow,
more complicated than I thought.
It is.
I didn't know Smurfy Girl was involved.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she's to blame basically for all of this here. Just like... These are my 15 minutes of fame probably, and so everyone who's here because of Alex Horne and the Hornesection, thank you so much, but this is not going to be a music video, so just watch another video, okay? But if you're interested in things like addiction and being on a slow buy, please keep watching. I am on a slow buy. What does that mean? I have a history of shopping addiction. Let's put it like that. I come from a working class background, which means that I could never afford anything until I started working basically. And then I earned money. I always had to work even during my studies, and then as a trainee teacher you get about €1,000 a month, which was enough to pay the rent and food and stuff, but not really, it didn't really get you very far with luxury products. But then, well, you get your first salary, and I didn't really spend anything. I just lived as I used to live before, and after about a year I bought a watch by Nomos, a company that I still like, and that was the beginning of me being addicted to watches, basically. Up to now, I think Nomos is still my favorite company. As you can see, I think I've got about 10 watches by Nomos, and we're talking about watches that start at €1,000 and go up to... My most expensive watch was €6,000, Jäger Le Coultre. Yeah, I'm not proud of that, but it's kind of the only accessory that men can wear, and this is also why how my shopping addiction started. Yeah, you look into a topic, you want to know more about the different movements, you think about the size of watches, the dials, the hands. I have always been into minimal designs, and Nomos is the brand for you because they've got a Bauhaus design that is quite simple. This is the biggest watch, as big as I would ever like a watch to be, an automatic one. It is lovely, but at the end of the day, you can only wear a watch a day. Like with fragrances, you can only use a fragrance a day, probably. So then I stopped thinking about watches after I got my most expensive one. I realized how ridiculous it is to still look for new watches. And then I came across pens. Just wait. I don't know if you are into pens. If you are, you might, if you are into fragrances, you might know what this is all about. This is Mont Blanc, and this is a vintage Pelican pen. This is not really that expensive. These are expensive. This is a Legrand Kolbenfüllfeder fountain pens. They can be expensive because of the gold nib. Yeah, and they've got ridiculous limited editions. So that was the next thing. I always liked fragrances, by the way. I always wore fragrances, but then I kind of shifted from very expensive watches to less expensive pens to even less expensive fragrances that can also get quite expensive. So you see, it was about time that I changed my shopping habits, and nowadays I think I had months where I spent about 500 or 600 euros just on fragrances. Ridiculous. My problem also is that I can forget about my fragrances. You might have seen other videos in which the door is open here, and there you can get an idea about the scope of my addiction. I stopped counting at about 300 bottles. I think we're in the region of 500. I'm not really sure about it, but I prefer to close the door to my fragrances, and I just realized that I've got many fragrances as soon as I open this door to pick out a fragrance for a day, and then I can forget about them again. So this had to change. In 2020, I decided to go on a slow buy. You know that there are no buys and slow buys. The slow buy basically means that I am more mindful about the things that I purchase. I really thought about this, how I can curb my addiction, and I came up with the rule, my own rule, that I wouldn't buy more than 100 milliliters. Why? Because basically I didn't want to, I was still a Joe Malone addict back then in 2020. That kind of changed when I heard about them not being cruelty free and other stuff that Aaron talked about in a recent video. I'm not going to go into that, but anxiety kicked in. As soon as you have to curb an addiction, you think, oh God, what am I going to do if my favorite brand is going to release 5 limited editions and I'm not allowed to get any of them? And then I will break my rule and everything will be gone. So the one bottle a month just didn't work for me. 100 milliliters allow me to basically get fragrances if I want to, and it doesn't matter how much they are. And if I go for little travel sprays, I can get maybe 10 fragrances a month. So just 10 milliliters of any given fragrance. That's my rule. I also am allowed to save these milliliters and take them into the next month. So if I don't get a fragrance in January, I can get 200 milliliters in February. Clever idea, isn't it? Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But failure is all part of it, I guess. We're just human. So 2020 was okay-ish, you know, the pandemic started. There had been months with anxiety purchases when I felt so overwhelmed and Joe Malone threw limited editions at me that I really had to get, and I had to get all of them, 3 lavender fragrances to calm me down. I thought it absolutely necessary for me to have backup bottles of these as well. Yeah, and then it was kind of a success. The problem always starts if a brand decides to have a sale, because then the 100 milliliters can quickly turn into 5 bottles that are so cheap, and fear of missing out, and fragrances being discontinued, limited editions. You probably all know what I'm talking about. Make you buy more than you need and than you want. Same goes for fragrances by Lush. Nope, not anymore. And I have also come to realize that I don't need fragrances by a brand, all of them. It used to be different because there is kind of a collector in me, or the working class boy who couldn't afford anything, who wants to have everything now, and to have a complete collection might also play into it. Like, oh, Nomos. The watches, they've got limited editions as well. I've got a couple of them. Maybe I'll insert pictures here of Tetra with different colors, and I've got 3 watches that are the same, but the color is different. That I thought I need them. I've even got a teacher watch, Ludwig, that has a dial that looks like as if it was written in chalk. There are only 100 of these watches about. So brands are very clever at making you buy all their stuff. As soon as something is limited, anxiety kicks in and you want to get hold of this thing because you're so loyal to the brand that you just buy anything they throw at you. Yes, Lush is the worst of all of them with their Lush kitchen. I like Lush. I love Lush. I love their ethos. What I don't like is their constant limited editions that they throw at people. And there are a lot of people who think that they need everything. I thought that I needed body lotions, 5 of them. I don't use body lotion. I'm not the kind of guy who uses body lotion. So, in fact, I had to throw them away recently because they were just rancid. And yeah, you get it. I've got a problem. Okay, so the slow buy really helped me and I can stick to my rules. I need these rules. If you don't need these rules, that's absolutely fine. Do whatever you want with your money. This is just my experience. I don't need 500 fragrances. My problem is, however, maybe you have seen my je veux declutter, or I want to declutter. I just can't. I'm lazy. Can't be bothered to put anything up for sale, having to deal with people, sending them the stuff. I know it doesn't make sense. I prefer to hoard my things or to give it away to friends. I just gave away a Joe Malone fragrance to one of my colleagues who missed the fragrance because it was discontinued, and she's happy. I'm happy to make her happy. Everyone profits. Yeah. So I'm trying to get rid of things by giving them away to friends, and I might decide to sell fragrances by brands that I don't really use. Byredo is one of those brands that I fell for their aesthetics. They look nice, they look minimal, love the packaging, like the scents, never wear them. And of course they're not cruelty free. That's another thing. When I started going cruelty free, it took a lot of time for me to really start using these fragrances again. I put them at the back of the shelves. That's also another problem, as I can close the door and the fragrances are stacked in their boxes. There are some fragrances that are hidden behind other fragrances that I'm not using. So I don't really know about them, that they are there. And yes, there have been cases where I haven't even opened the packaging. These two portrait collections have never been opened by me. This is also from a phase where I got 10 or 8 portrait collections in 1 month, just because there was a 20% sale. I'll just let that sink in. Okay, good. 8 portraits collections in a month, in the month of December. I remember that very vividly. And I got samples with them. And as long as I don't finish a sample, I don't want to open the box. And I've still got the samples. Yeah, welcome to my world. Give me a thumbs down. Yeah, but maybe you are similar, and it is very easy to fall into this rabbit hole of having to acquire the latest thing. You think that you need these things. In fact, your health is the most important thing. And all these luxury products, yes, they make you feel happy for a couple of seconds, and then you are looking for the next best thing. I have watched so many YouTubers and so many fragrance hauls, and then decluttering again. I don't want to fall into this trap. I don't want to do that. But it works for a lot of people, and they have less fragrances than me because they constantly get rid of other fragrances, which gives them a budget to get other fragrances, or they swap, or they trade. Yeah, fine. Yeah, maybe that's even better. I don't know. There is no right or wrong. I can only talk about me. I buy things and I hoard them. And I'm on a slow buy right now. So let me check. I think, so that is all about my slow buy. So now let me tell you what I got this month. In April, I was able to actually purchase about 220 milliliters. I'm going to look it up later because I hadn't bought really anything in January or February, with the exception of Russian tea. You probably have seen the haul video where I talked about new mint fragrances in my collection. So what did I get this month? I was invited to an event by Masque Milano. I still don't really know why it happened, but I think that Teresa, one of my friends on Instagram, she kind of told Masque Milano, hey, he might be interested. I had purchased the Discovery set, and I had purchased Russian tea and Lattesa. It's pronounced like this. So waiting for something. I was invited. I don't know why, but they had my address, and there was an online presentation of their latest fragrance, Lost Alice. A lot of real influences were there, and we got those samples with different accords. The people of Masque Milano were there and talked about the fragrance, and also the perfumer Riley Mackenzie was present and talked about the different accords that we smelled together. And for example, the flower one, this is broom. On its own, not very pleasant. In the composition of the fragrance Lost Alice, absolutely stunning. Wonderful kind of animalic flower, yellow flower that smells almost woody. On its own, no thank you. But if you know that it's in there, and if you smell the composition Tea Party afterwards, then it all makes sense. Everything falls into place. So this is what I ordered immediately afterwards, because me and Teresa decided to just get it. yeah, we had a little chat. I also chatted with Maria from Poland. Lovely chat. So the discussion after the presentation was just as lovely as being invited to this presentation. And you know that I also did a music video on Lost Alice, if you're interested. Well, there will be links, or you will find it. Plop! This is Lost Alice, and it is inspired by Alice's Tea Party. And indeed, you have got a tea note in there, as well as a carrot cake note that also comes from orris that is used in this fragrance. You know that orris can have a carroty, earthy vibe to it, and it totally makes sense to use it in a composition that is about to with the rabbit and the tea party, and of course the rabbit is going to have a lovely carrot cake. Deep gourmand, but a defensive gourmand. It is a very professional gourmand in my point of view. You know, there are those sugary gourmands that just fill a room, and it's sweet and sweeter and the sweetest. I wore Baccarat Rouge yesterday. And there are those gourmands that are a bit more polite. And the broom and the orris. Orris is a very professional note to my nose, always a bit distancing, kind of aloof, like, I don't need you. I know who I am in the world. I don't need anyone else's opinion. That's orris to me. And then it totally makes sense. And just look at this bottle. Isn't it lovely? Yes, it is. It is lovely. And so is the fragrance. I'm very glad that I went for it. And I have worn nothing but this fragrance for about a week. But again, I'm still on the samples. Because they also sent a sample of Lost Alice with Lost Alice. And I don't spray a lot of these fragrances. And it's also one of those fragrances with 1 or 2 sprays you are sorted for the day. Very long lasting. Probably people are already tired of hearing about this fragrance because, yeah, a lot of people, 100 people were invited, and of course all these people are talking about it, but the hype is real and justified, in my opinion. So if you haven't smelled it, do yourself a favor and have a try. Yeah, this is my first experience really as an influencer. But I paid for this. For not full price because there was a 10% discount, but anyone could have bought it for this price that I paid for it. But nevertheless, as I was invited, I'm going to make this video a sponsored video because yes, I was influenced by the brand. I hope they're fine with it, and I don't care about it. I love this one. So this is a sponsored video from now on because I got the sample kind of for free and I was invited for the presentation. Yes. Thank you. And this is my advertisement. And I hope you're fine with that. If not, it's a wonderful fragrance. By the way, I recently also got a sample of Meander by Amouage that is kind of similar because the perfumer is also Mackenzie Riley, butchering your name, sorry about that, that has similar notes. There is a carrot heart in there that is also in Lost Alice and Orris Root. To my nose, there is a signature to Mackenzie's two fragrances. There is something that they both have in common. I wonder if there is anyone else out there who has experienced the very same thing. Go on, this is a long video already. Good. Then, you know that I also like to support local shops. So whenever I can, I will buy locally. I'm not able to buy Masque Milano here in Salzburg. I hope that one day I can. But when this shop opened, I knew I was in trouble because this is Maison Colloredo. Colloredo was one of the archbishops here, but okay, this is a new niche perfumery that has brought fragrances to Salzburg that had not been available before. Some brands I'm really not interested in, like, sorry about that, Roger Dove. It's just a bit, yeah, it's a bit too much for me. Like, but okay, I am willing to pay a hefty price for things that I love, and I can because I buy less of these things than I used to. So I was able to discover new things thanks to this wonderful shop with wonderful people. Also advertisement, not sponsored, sponsored, not sponsored, because I'm kind of sponsored because I get a lot of samples there and a lot of decants, and they know exactly why, because I will spend money there. I have come across this company here that is Santa Maria Novella. It doesn't say anywhere. Di Santa Maria Novella, yes, from Florence. So this is an Italian video today. As I didn't want to get fragrances, first of all, I got some soap because they've got mint soap. Isn't it lovely? This is a vetiver soap, sapone per uomo, and I think I already talked about it, and sapone alla menta. Sapone alla menta. I've got to do this. Sapone alla menta. Know what I'm talking about now. Yes, I'm looking forward to using them. I'm still on a Lush soap. Yeah, but I got a decant about a week ago of one of their fragrances that Etherealist has already talked about. He's more knowledgeable about this fragrance than I will ever be, so I'm going to link his video down there in the description, not there. Down in the description there will be a video and a review on this fragrance, because it is Città di Kyoto, which is Firenze, you know, the city where Santa Maria Novella is from. It's their partner city, and it kind of plays into Japanese scent culture. You know that this was founded in 1612, and Medicis wore their fragrances. It's a monastery. There are beautiful pictures. Just look it up, Google it. They've got a ton of products, usually Acqua Colonia, Eau de Cologne. God, lost in translation. Eau de Cologne concentrations, but they're beautiful, natural, fresh, soapy, clean scents, nevertheless. Very Italian in their vibe, of course, because they are Italian. So there are a lot of citrus notes. And this one is a bit different because it has incense and, again, iris in there. And it's very, very private, but nevertheless long-lasting. No one is going to smell that on you. And I wore this Tuesday and Wednesday. I sprayed it on. I didn't really smell it, but after 4 hours, I was just sitting there. I was taking my mask off after lesson, and I thought, wow, it smells lovely here. And it was me. A lovely, very refined incense, oricey, kind of carroty, earthy, and nevertheless fresh and soapy, clean, very clean. This is the perfect fragrance for public events if they ever happen again. I thought that if I attend a theatre production this year, I'm about to wear this fragrance. This will be my Festspiel fragrance forever and ever, because it's just absolutely stunning and lovely, refined. Please watch Ethereal etherealist's video on this. He's going to tell you way more about the scent, and I don't really want to give a full review on it as I have only worn it twice, but probably the notes will be listed somewhere here right now, and you can make up your mind whether you want to give them a try. It's a house that is not really talked about, but now that I know about this house, I see more and more posts on Instagram about them. It's like maybe that's a phenomenon that that once you know a brand, you see it everywhere all of a sudden. I saw several posts recently, and their signature scent, I got something today. That's why the bag is here. Slowbuy, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to purchase anything. No, not at all. It's not a fragrance. So that's okay, isn't it? Not sure. It is Melograno, which is their signature scent. Ooh, shiny box here. Their signature scent, and it's a terracotta pomegranate, if that's how you pronounce pomegranate in English. If not, you know what I'm talking about. And I already tried the fragrance on its own, but this is, let me open it. 31 minutes, god damn. This is a terracotta pomegranate drenched in a wonderful, lovely scent. And I've just realized it also comes with a little plate that it'll sit on. And this is going to live in our bathroom from now on. I heard rumors that it smells for about a year, and if it does so, it was worth every single penny. Lovely, clean. It fills the room right now, even though it's still in its little plastic bag. Oh, look at it. There's kind of a, can you see it? There is, as if there was oil inside, as if there is still drenched in oil and dripping in the fragrance oil. It smells absolutely lovely, and I thought that instead of buying a fragrance, I just indulge in these tiny little luxuries from time to time, and by doing so I can support a local shop. So my products, my grooming products will come from this shop from now on, I think, as I don't really have access to Lush anymore, and I will still use the dirty shower gel and stuff, but toothpaste, and now that I'm into kind of shaving, I'm sorry, this situation got a bit out of control, which is why I decided to go for a Shakespearean look, kind of, and make it shorter and start again. The awkward phase was too awkward, and I wasn't able to eat anything without my beard soaking up every liquid that it could. For example, having a cup of coffee or a cappuccino became impossible, and that wasn't worth it. And then afterwards you have to wear a mask. No. So this is my FFP2 face now, because everything can fit under a mask. Yeah, and why am I telling you this? Well, probably not interested. As you can see, I still get stuff. I'm still an addict, but I'm an addict who curbed it. Does that make sense? If you are on a slow buy, or if you find this interesting, if you want to go on a slow buy, please tell me about it. Tell me what your rules are, whether you need rules or whether you're completely fine without rules and you just can stop buying things. That would be a lovely idea, wouldn't it? I decided to work less. I am very privileged as a teacher that I can basically say, I don't want to have a lot of lessons. I want to teach less because I want to live more. And by cutting out a lot of luxury things in my life, I can still maintain the same level of lifestyle. Basically, I just don't spend the money, and I've got more time to make music, to record songs, to come up with strange ideas, to read books, to have fun. I'm very privileged. I know a lot of people are not in that position. So, and a lot of people, and still we feel the need to kind of keep up with the Joneses. You don't. Just do you. I never was in debt or anything. Is that a... Yeah. I could always... It was never a problem really, just a psychological one. Money-wise, I could still buy a lot of things, but it doesn't... I realized that it doesn't really make me happier, if that makes sense. Maybe you are similar, and if it makes you happy, go for it. Okay? So, thank you so much for watching. This is very long. I'm sorry about that. But I hope that you found it interesting, and I might be talking to you again very soon, because there are other subjects that are on my mind that I just want to talk about, and what my stance on these issues is. And we will have another music video very soon. I cannot force music videos. They really just happen to me because I get a crazy idea and I've got to do it. And then nothing is going to stop me, and I'm going to do it. But I cannot possibly say, I'm going to make a music video next week, because right now I don't have an idea, but these ideas just come to me and then they happen. Music videos just happen. Other videos can be planned. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this microphone worked. That's my latest investment into equipment, because I thought the other microphone I'm still using for recording songs, but it was not really the best microphone to record speech from a distance. It's one that you have to be close to and sing into, like Billie Eilish whispering into microphone. And this should be better for speech, I hope. If it's not, you probably didn't understand the word that I was saying. And I've got to re-record all of this. Let's, fingers crossed, it'll work. Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye. Go out. Turn it off. Turn off this thing right now. Enjoy the sun. Bye. And don't buy fragrance.